My name is Wade, and my story, just for a little background, I accepted Christ when I was young. Like, it was the summer between my third and fourth grade year. Fourth grade, our church, I grew up in Oklahoma, and our church was taking a ski trip to Colorado. And while on that ski trip, there was another guy on that trip. He was a few years older than me, and we ended up having to share a room together at this ski retreat place that we were going to for the week. During that week, he introduced me into a lot of things that I had been pretty sheltered from my entire life, and while on that, he sexually molested me. Transferring forward a few years to middle school, junior high, obviously that's kind of when hormones get kind of a little bit more crazy and girls are paying more attention to guys and guys to girls and that kind of stuff. I was kind of aware of, a sexual attraction that I had towards other guys. And I knew that it wasn't right and I knew that it was wrong, but at the same time, I didn't know where it came from. I didn't know what to do with it. And I really had nobody to talk to about it. I tried my best to cover it up and pretend like it wasn't there. Still having the struggle, but just trying to wrestle my way through it on my own. And kind of under the assumption that when I graduated and I went to Bible college that it would go away because I'd be surrounded by Christians. I'd be studying God's Word. The environment was not a safe one to talk about with anybody, really, what I was struggling with, especially living in a guy's dorm. You don't want to tell a bunch of guys that you're struggling with same-sex attraction when you're living in a guy's dorm with a bunch of guys that are studying to be pastors. So when everything started falling apart there, I did what I had done before when I left college in the first place. I said, well, I'm going to go somewhere else and do something different. I packed up, moved to Lynchburg, Virginia, and decided to finish school here instead of the school I was at before, where I didn't know very many people. I knew a few people. I knew Jeremy and Jana when I moved out here. Jeremy had asked me to go to lunch with him, and I was like, okay, so we met, and he had some things he wanted to talk to me about, and one of those things was he wanted to ask me indirectly if I struggled with homosexuality. And that was the first time I think that anybody had ever flat out and directly asked me that. And I didn't know what to do. I was like, and so I was like, no. I just kind of lied and said, no, that's not something I struggle with. I told him about the time that I was sexually molested and abused on the church ski trip when I was in the fourth grade. I told him that part, and I said, yeah, I struggle with some things because of that, and I've never talked to anybody about it, but I said I definitely don't think I'm gay or anything like that. At the time, I think I was the only person in the house that had a computer, and so all of my roommates, if they needed to use a computer, they'd go to my room and get on my computer and use it, and it was no big deal. I didn't, nobody thought anything about it. Well, Jeremy had gone into my room to use my computer, and when he got online, I obviously was not very careful and clear browser history, whatever. He saw all this stuff that I had been going to see and instantly knew that I had lied to him about struggling with homosexuality. We had a house meeting and they confronted me on it. Jeremy had talked with my other roommates, and so this was the first time that I had no choice. I had to face up to the fact that I struggled with same-sex attraction, and I had to, at least tell my three roommates because they already knew, and had to seek help because obviously part of that process was I needed to step down from being on the worship team for a while, and I had to move my computer into an open area of the house, and I had to agree to meet with one of the deans at Liberty for counseling, and so I agreed to all those things, and I did it. Even with my computer in an open area of the house, I found that if I just stayed up late enough, everyone would go to bed and I would have the computer all to myself. That led to another confrontation with Jeremy. And honestly, I didn't have anything to say to him. I was like, I don't know. I have no explanation. I have no reason other than I'm just not sure what I believe anymore. That same summer was the summer that Blue Ridge was moving from their old building into the place that they're at now. And they had services every Wednesday night back then, and Woody was doing a series on Joshua. And there are a lot of other things that happened between then and now where I really felt like God was pursuing me and revealing himself to me. One of those Wednesday nights, Woody was teaching, and he was talking about the passage where Joshua stood before the people of Israel and said, today you need to make a choice, who you're going to serve. And he kind of made the declaration that, as far as him and his house, they were going to serve God. And, you can't have it both ways. And for so long, I had been living a double life. So that night, I, kind of had to make the commitment. It's like, okay, God, you, again, have proven yourself to me, and I no longer doubt who you are. I said this time, no matter what, I'm going to be honest and as transparent as I can be. I'm not going to say the right things just because I know the right things that people want to hear or say. I just wanted to be real and authentic for the first time in my life. And somewhere in that process, and I honestly can't put a finger on one specific incident, but it was just kind of like an aha moment where for the first time in my life, I understood, I understood grace. It finally sunk in from my head to my heart that, during this whole process, that God's feelings towards me never changed. That no matter what I had done in the past or what I could do today or what could possibly happen tomorrow or the next, that nothing I can do, none of my actions, whether good or bad, will change the way God feels about me. There are going to be people that hear this story that are going to identify with the struggle, that are struggling with same-sex thoughts and feelings themselves. And for them, I guess the point that I would want to make would be to talk to somebody. There's also going to be a group of people that don't struggle with it, but I guarantee you they know somebody that is. You definitely have a part to play in how they are able to experience the love of Christ and truth in community and in the body. It's still a part of who I am, but it's not where I find my identity. It still is a struggle. I still struggle with my thought life. And, I'm so grateful for the level of accountability that I have in my life through my small group on the worship team, through friends and stuff. It's really amazing when I look back and see how God has put me in a place where, I'm surrounded by people that, care about me, and they care about my relationship with God, and are willing to pray with me and just do whatever it takes to encourage me in my walk.